Hello, everybody. So for most people, the holiday is a time of going home, of seeing family, of reuniting with loved ones. For me, it's a little different. You see, I'm a professional private investigator. And that means in my life, it's a time for running away, for suicides, and for stealing children. So it's a little bit of a different dynamic. I remember one incident a bunch of years ago around the holiday season. As a matter of fact, it was just after George Bush had been elected president. And we look back on that fondly now, don't we? Yes. But continuing on. A woman from California contacted us and said that her child had been stolen. She was a former cheerleader who had married a football player, a professional football player. And his family was from the Philadelphia area. So she thought that it's possible that her little 11-month-old girl might be in Philadelphia. So we did a family background, found he had 2 sisters, and started surveillance on the houses. And at one, we hit gold. It was a single sister without children, and in the back of her Lexus was a baby seat. Voila, we got the kid. We told the attorney. He sends us copies of custody papers and tells us if we find the child, the court has given us permission to seize the child and run with it to get it back to the right lawful parent. Which sounds good on surface, but we're not television. We don't do anything in a half an hour with 2 commercials. It takes a little bit more doing than that. So we figured it out since it was just after the election. I put together a survey, and the survey was a post-election survey. And we went back to the neighborhood. Now, this neighborhood was perfect. Every other house had Christmas lights. Every other house had Hanukkah lights. Some had both. You never know. And there we were in the neighborhood, and I was with 2 of my female investigators, and we went from house to house, and we did this stupid survey. And it was really good because people saw us, and we looked legit. They didn't know we had 2 surveillance cars, one up at that end of the hill, one up at that end of the hill, ready to swoop in and get us the minute we showed up with the child. So we go up to our subject's house, and I knock on the door. And don't you know, the door opens, and there is a woman. Her hair is so frazzled, it's sticking out on end. She's got oatmeal down the front of her shirt. Her eyes are rolling in opposite directions, and she's holding a little baby who is screaming at the top of her lungs like this. She obviously has no idea what to do with this child. Well, I'm a mom and a grandmom. So I looked at the child, I reached out, and it fell into my arms, and I just held her, and she stopped crying. And the woman looked at me with such joy. I became her best friend. And I said, you know, we're going to do this survey, but let me let Kim and Lisa hold the baby for a few minutes while we do the survey. And I took her into the kitchen, and I looked at the girls, and I went, get the hell out of here. So I'm in the kitchen with Mom, and not Mom, the sister, and we're doing this stupid-ass survey. And she's answering every question, and she's so happy. And then all of a sudden she goes, wait a minute. There's no noise. I don't hear the baby. And she looks at me and she goes, shit, you took the baby. And so I started getting my stuff together. And I started backing away. And she let out with a scream. And I hear on the stairs, and somebody is running down the stairs. I turn and I run out the front door because there's going to be another surveillance car down there for me, and I'm just going to get the hell out of here. And I hear noise behind me, and this refrigerator of a man. I mean, he is the size of, I don't know, do you know what these great big refrigerators at restaurants look like? Well, he's a little bit bigger than that. And he's screaming at me. And I don't know what propelled me to turn around and look at him. And I went, stop. And he did. And then I didn't know what to do. So I said, you were already wanted for kidnapping. Don't turn it into murder. And I realized that was really stupid because he didn't have that idea before I put it in his head. But okay, I turn around and I'm going to run right to the car that's not at the base of the driveway. As a matter of fact, it's not up the street in either direction. And now I am seriously concerned for my life. So I just stood up with all the aplomb I possibly could and ran like hell down the street, okay? In heels. I have no pocketbook. I have no keys of any kind. I have no cell phone with me because I was going to be picked up by one of the investigators that I pay because it's my business. Except they were not there. Apparently what happened was both guys who were on surveillance got so excited when they saw the child, they didn't notice that I wasn't present. I'm the person that pays them. But not for long. So I walked for 1.5 miles because this is suburban Philadelphia until I found a gas station that was opened. And I convinced somebody to allow me to use their telephone to call my office. And I finally got someone to come and get me, feeling really dejected, having really sore feet, feeling really unhappy that I was forgotten by my entire staff, but feeling really, really good that that little baby was home with her mom for the holidays. Thank you.